Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you guys how to make this simple Princess Dart Bustier dress with a basque waistline. So in our previous video we drafted out the pattern to make this beautiful dress, so I'll leave the link of that video in the description box, so make sure you see that video first before you see this one. So without wasting much time, let's jump right into the tutorial. So these are the fabrics we'll be working with for this tutorial. So I'll be making use of the Ankara fabric. This is going to be for the upper part of the dress, and then the plain fabric is going to be for the lower part of the dress, the gathered part. So I made use of about 1.5 yard of Ankara fabric. I didn't finish it though, and then 1 yard of the plain fabric. So I've gone ahead to use the patterns we drafted out in the previous video to cut on my fabric. So I went ahead to cut out the lining pieces also. So these are the front panels. I have two pieces of the sides and two pieces of the lining, and then these are the back panels as well, and I also have the lining pieces cut out already. So make sure you see the video on how to draft the pattern. I'll leave it pinned on the comment section. So let's work on the front. So we're going to start working on the front panels before we move to the back panels. So after removing the pattern paper, this is what we have. So I have two pieces of the sides, as you can see, and then this is the center front. So after opening up, you should have something like this as well. So I'll just go ahead to arrange the pieces of fabric. So this is what we have after opening up the fabric. So I have exactly the same thing for my lining pieces. So whatever I do to the main fabric, I'm going to do the same thing to the lining. I'm going to join it together. So you can decide to iron gum stay on your lining or ST just to make it firm. But for me, I'll be making use of it this way. So I have exactly the same thing for my lining pieces. So before we go ahead to join the pieces of fabrics together, I'll be attaching breast part to the chest area. This is just going to make it more firm. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out, and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So I've gone ahead to cut out the breast pads that we're going to use to pad the bust area of the princess dart. So for the length of the breast pad, I made sure it stopped at the under bust area of my dress, as you can see. So I just went ahead to take from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 14 inches. So you can see that the pad is stopping at the 14 inches mark, and then for the length of the center point, I used 7 inches, as you can see. So I came down by 7 inches from the shoulder line. That is where the center breast pad is starting from, as you can see. And then for the other side, and it's stopping on 14 inches. And then for the sides, from the 14 inches mark, I came up by 8 inches. So that is where my pad is stopping for the sides. So by the time I join them together, it's still going to align together. So this is what we have here. So I'll go ahead now to iron the breast pad on the fabric, and then when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So make sure the part that has the gum is facing the fabric before you iron it. So after I iron the breast part to the chest area, this is what it looks like. So the next thing to do now is to join the pieces together. So I'm making use of my pins to join the pieces together first before I go ahead to sew it. So there are different methods of joining the Princess Dart Bustier, but I have a particular method that works perfectly well for me. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys in this video. So I'm going to place them this way, right sides facing each other, and then I'll match the lowest points together, match it up this way, and then I'll use my pins to secure it first. So guys, make sure you use your pins to secure your bustier first before you join it, so that you won't have any excess fabric at the lower point. And then I'll match up the armhole points together as well, and then use my pins to hold it down. So take your time while trying to join your bustier so that you can get a very neat finishing at the end. And after doing that, I'm going to just go ahead and fit in the bustier into the remaining part of my fabric this way. So just watch closely what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to just fit in the bustier into the other fabric this way, just as you can see me doing, and then I use my pins to secure it down. So I'll keep fitting it in this way. So just take your time to do this, and you're going to have a very neat bustier at the end of the day. So I'll keep fitting it in this way. Fit it in this way. So after joining with my pins, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, we don't have any excess fabric at the lower part, neither do we have any excess at the upper part. So I'm going to my sewing machine now and stitch it using 1/2 inch all the way down to the full length. So while I was cutting my fabric, I added 1/2 inch to it for the joining allowance. So when we're done joining together, we're going to have something that looks like this. So you can see that there is no excess fabric at the lower point and there is no excess fabric at the upper point as well. So just take your time to use your pins and you're going to have something very nice at the end of the day. So I'm going to join the other side to it the same way, but I'm doing that off camera. I'll use my pins to secure it down first before I sew. So after doing that, I'm going to join my lining pieces together. I'll join them together just like I did with the main fabric. This is going to be for the turning over of the neckline. So when I'm done doing all this, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So after joining the fabrics together, this is what it looks like. So you can see the bustier area coming out really beautiful. So I went ahead to place it on my tailor's arm and I ironed it out just to give it a neat finishing. So this is what it looks like. So I also joined my lining pieces together also. So I'll be using that now to turn over the neckline and the armhole area. So I'm going to go ahead and place it on it this way, right sides facing each other. So I'll place it this way, right sides facing each other. So I'll place the lining piece on it, right sides facing each other. So I'm going to be using this lining to turn over the neckline and the armhole because it's a sleeveless dress. So I'll take it to my sewing machine now and join it together using 1/2 inch. I'll join up the neckline points together and then I'll close up the shoulder points and also close up the armhole. I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'll close up the sides as well, but I'll be leaving the base open for turning over. So I'll go ahead now to do that and I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after stitching down the neckline area, before closing up the sides, I went ahead to make small notches on it. So make sure you don't get to the seam while making the notch so that it won't open it up. So I just notched it open this way. And then after that, I'm going to flip it open this way, just as you can see me doing in the video. And then I'll direct the inner seam towards the lining part. I'll fold it in towards the lining part this way and go ahead to top stitch on it. I'll top stitch very close to my Ankara fabric on the lining piece. I'll top stitch on the lining piece all the way down. This is to make the lining firm inside so that it won't be coming out on the neckline area. So make sure the inner seam is towards the lining point and then top stitch all the way down. So I'll close up the sides now and show you guys the next thing to do. So after joining the lining and the fabric together, this is what we have. So this is the armhole area. I went ahead to make small notches on it as well. So I'll go ahead now to flip it over from the under because I didn't join it together. So I'll flip it over to the right side this way. So I'll just use my scissors to make sure that all the edges are out. Flip it over to the right side this way. So after flipping over, this is what it looks like. So this is what we have after flipping over to the right side. So this is what it looks like on the right side and this is what the wrong side looks like. You can see how neat it is. So I'm going to go ahead and iron out the neckline area. I'll iron it out very well and also iron out the armhole point. So I'm going to set this aside now while we work on the back panels. So I have the fabrics for my back panel here cut out already. So this is the center back. So remember we're going to be having zipper at the back of the dress and then these are the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and join them together just the way I did for the front panel. So make sure you use your pins to hold them down first before you sew. So I'll place it right sides facing each other this way and then match the lower points together and I'll fit in the bustier into the other fabric. I'll fit it in. So make sure you follow the same method I used for the front panel to get a very neat finishing. I'll sew it all the way down using half an inch. So I'll repeat the same thing for the other side, and then the lining pieces as well, I'm going to join them together also. So when I'm done joining all these fabrics together, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like and the next thing to do. So after joining the fabrics together, this is what it looks like, and these are the lining pieces as well. These are the lining pieces. I've gone ahead to join them together. So I'm going to place them right sides facing each other, just like I did with the front panel, to turn over the neckline and also the armhole. So I'll place them this way, right sides facing each other, and take half an inch to join the necklines together, join the shoulder points, and also join the armhole area. So don't forget that before you close up all the sides, after joining the neckline, make sure you top stitch, make small notches and top stitch on the lining piece, just like I explained for the front panel before you go ahead to close it up. So I'll repeat the same thing for the other side of the back panel. Place it right sides facing each other, and then I'll join the neck area together first and open up the top stitch before I go ahead to close up the remaining parts. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after turning over with the lining, this is what it looks like. This is the wrong side. So I went ahead to iron it out, so you can see how neat the neck area is looking. I also top stitched it like I said earlier. So the next thing we want to do now is to join the front and the back panels together. So this is my front panel here. So I'm going to place the back pieces on it, right sides facing each other. So I'll match the shoulder areas together and join it together using half an inch. I'll join it together there, and then on the side, see, making use of the 1 inch seam allowance we added while drafting our pattern, I'm going to stitch it all the way down on the side using my 1 inch seam allowance. So you can take out whatever seam allowance you used while drafting your pattern. So I also do the same thing for the other side, and then I would stitch it all the way down using my ½ inch seam allowance. So when I'm done doing that, I'm going to close up the back panel this way to the point where I want my zipper to stop. So I'll stitch it down to the point where I want my zipper to stop. So after closing up the sides and the shoulder points, this is what it looks like. This is what the back looks like as well. So I went ahead to take in the point where my zipper is going to stop. My zipper is going to stop at the point where I stitched down. This is what it looks like. So the next thing we want to do now is to fix the lower part of this dress. So I'm making use of this light blue cotton fabric here. So to get the length of fabric you'll be cutting out, go ahead to measure what you have all around the base of your dress. So to get the length of the fabric, depending on how full you want it, so measure what you have all around the lower part of your dress and then multiply by 2. Depending on how full you want it, you can multiply by 3 depending on the amount of fabric you have. But for me, I just multiplied by 2. And then for the height you'll be working with, depending on the length of your dress. So for me, I'm working with about 16 inches here. By the time I attach it to my dress, I'll be having like 36 inches all together. I have 17 inches. By the time I take in 1 inch for folding at the base, I'll be left with 16 inches. So to attach it, just go ahead and place them this way, right sides facing each other. So while I'm joining to the lower part of my dress, I'll be forming small pleats. So my pleats are going to be about 1 inch apart. So I'll just pleat the fabric and go ahead to gather yours to the length that you have at the lower part. But for me, I'll just pleat it while sewing to my fabric. So I'll place it this way and pleat it all the way around while sewing together. I'll form small pleats this way and stitch it all the way around it. Stitch it all the way around the lower part of my dress. So when I'm done doing that, I'm also going to fold in the lower part twice for finishing. So after that, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So after joining the lower parts to the dress, this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful the pleats looks. You can see how it came out in front, and this is what the back looks like as well. So this is what the back looks like after attaching it to it. So this is the point where my zipper is going to fit in, and then I went ahead to fold in the base also. So the next thing to do now is to insert the zipper to the dress. So I'll be working with this zipper. So I'll go ahead to open it up this way. I'll pull it up this way, and then I'll place it on my fabric. I'll place it on my fabric this way. Just watch what I'm doing here, making sure the fabric part of the zipper is facing the open angle of your dress, and then I'll fold in the upper part this way. For the taking my 1 inch zipper allowance, I will stitch it all the way down. So make sure that when you are stitching, you stitch very close to the zipper teeth, not on the fabric. Stitch very close to the zipper teeth so that you won't have much fabric coming out when after sewing. So after sewing it is going to come out really neat if you use this method. And then for the other side, I'll make sure that the other side, the fabric part of the zipper is also towards the open angle. I'll fold it in and stitch it all the way down towards the zipper teeth, all the way down to where I want my zipper to stop. So it's going to look very neat also after I finish stitching. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys the finished product of the dress. So after attaching the zipper to the back panel, this is what it looks like. So you can see how neat it came out. You can barely see any zipper fabric showing at the back. So this is what the front panel also looks like. You can see how beautiful the dress looks. So guys, this is where we'll be ending this video for today. I hope you found the video very useful, and so I'll go ahead to give it a good press now and show you guys what it looks like when I wear it. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel if you're yet to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.